detective, thrill me.
Thanks for joining us again for another episode, Jared. We're here to talk about the least anticipated films this time. We covered our 5 most anticipated.
I thought we were just going to dedicate half an hour to Rambo.
No, I think I gave Rambo the appropriate level of respect in the last episode.
Yep.
Once again, I anticipate great things. No, these are our least anticipated.
Yep.
Look, this one might go a little longer because I've got a few
You got some bones to
honourable
pick.
mentions. Yeah, I got this. There's a lot of stuff in my mind. I'm going to come straight out of the box. The one that have got no interest in, none, is Men in Black International.
Mm-hmm.
I think the trailer just looks generic. Love Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson and Liam Neeson, but this looks paycheck.
Look,
to
I'm
me.
going to throw it out there. You're just pining for Will Smith, aren't you?
I wish Will Smith was in
You're
there.
dirty that they're making a Men in Black movie without your man, Will Smith.
I wish Will Smith was in this.
Yeah.
Honestly, it just looks so generic. I think we've had enough of Men in Black.
Were we really crying out for it?
No, we weren't.
It seems to me like someone's just...
I wasn't.
It seems to me like someone's just dusted off a property
Yep.
that they could get their hands on
Well, Sony...
at the right price.
Sony has had some trouble,
Yeah.
and I think they just felt, oh well, this is a property that we can use, we can reboot.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to reboot everything.
You know, the only thing that gives me some
hope?
positive feelings about this is that there was that talk about how they were going to try and cross it over with Jump Street. And I thought to myself, that sounds so stupid. But Jump Street 1 and 2 were both very funny.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, have they possibly taken that direction and taken some of what they were going to do there
And put it in.
and possibly put it in? Casting Hemsworth makes me think perhaps.
Maybe, yeah. And look...
But yeah, I agree. I'm not really... let's just say I wasn't fucking rushing to social media and Googling everything about Men in Black International when I heard about it.
No.
Or saw the trailer. You know what? I haven't even watched the full trailer.
I saw the trailer.
I saw snippets and just turned it off.
I saw the trailer, and look, it doesn't look like explosive diarrhea bad, but it looks like, it's not...
Moral case the shit's bad.
yeah, well, if I'm rating it on that scale...
Upset tummy.
It's an upset stomach that's sort of half-formed, and then into diarrhea. So...
You're just waiting, you just cannot wait to flush it out and get rid of it.
Yeah, look, once I've done it, I'm happy. So, to me, it just strikes me as the kind of property that they felt they could make some more money out of. I didn't even see 3.
No, I didn't say 3.
I mean, your Tommy Lee Jones embargo had something to do.
Yeah. Tommy Lee's been barred.
That had something to do with it. But I think the more likely thing that had to do with me is I saw the trailer for 3 and thought, nah.
Basically...
I remember finding 2
Yeah, 2
pretty
was
bad.
a bit average. Basically, look, Clint Eastwood strikes me as a grumpy old bastard these days. He's hitting the age where he can be a grumpy old bastard. If he's telling you Tommy Lee Jones is a son of a bitch, but a good actor, if that's the best he's got to say about you, you're a son of a bitch, but you're a good actor. You must be a real piece of work.
But the 4th one just seems like it's a cash in. I love Hemsworth and I think Tessa Thompson's great and I think the cast will be fine. I won't actually see this to find out. The thing for me is I could fire a little bit of a, hedge my bets here and go, oh, just I hope it's good. But I won't even see it to know if it's good.
Yeah.
That's
okay.
how far down on my sort of interest level it is. Like, I wouldn't even bother.
Yeah.
Right. I didn't even bother with 3. Why would I bother with 4?
True.
So it's definitely well outside my sphere.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. The name and brand recognition alone is not enough to get me through the door at this point.
I've got better things to do. And that's saying something. Because usually I've got nothing to do.
Men in Black's not enough brand recognition to get me through the door, but when I heard that Leprechaun was remade, jeez.
I immediately came scouring every streaming service.
When Leprechaun took the Halloween approach and made a direct sequel to the first one, I'm thinking, gee, that sounds interesting. I better look that up. Men in Black, not interested.
What? Yeah, not enough runs on the board. In Black series hasn't got enough runs on the board, but the Leprechaun series has been kicking goals left and right.
Yeah, Leprechaun's done enough to give it the benefit of the doubt.
Warrant a sequel. What have a look at? Oh my god, we are losers. What have you got on your list?
Okay, so I've got one that
Let's start with the shit list.
I was optimistic about until the trailer came. Hellboy.
Oh,
Okay, so David Harbour, love the bloke. Neil Marshall, talking about runs on the board. I mean, the bloke's done some very good movies, even some that weren't.
Yeah, but he hasn't made a movie for a while.
I know, but even ones that weren't great were some that I still sort of enjoyed. Done some Game of Thrones and things like that. Yeah. So he's got runs on the board. But I watched the trailer and I just, like...
Do you think he was our first ball?
yeah, golden duck.
Straight through the gate, bowled him.
The
trailer was
looked at the trailer. Yeah. And obviously this is this is something that's gone... It's been well written about on the internet and everything. It just did nothing for me. I looked at it and I was kind of like, what is it? Like, what are we...
What was the tone?
I don't know.
As soon as that song came on,
it seemed kind of comedic, but not comedy. It seemed like just light kind of action comedy sort of stuff.
Sort of giggles. Is that all you thought you were getting?
But I was just confused. I didn't know what was going on.
Look, I don't read the comic books about Hellboy, so I knew nothing.
I don't read the comics on Hellboy.
The first movie was good. I enjoyed the first movie that came out, the Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah. It seemed to fit his kind of style very, very well.
Unfortunately, the sequel was garbage. Absolute garbage. And I remember watching the sequel, going to the cinema to see the sequel, quite excited, mind you.
Yeah.
Coming out and just going... Well, that's the end of that. I won't be watching that ever again.
You weren't signing any petitions for part 3?
No. And no surprise that there never was a part 3.
Yeah.
And then when I heard about it being done again, I thought I kind of never got more than lukewarm.
Well, I was the same. I was kind of, as I said, I was optimistic. When they said Hellboy remake, I was like, take it or leave it. David Harbour, Neil Marshall, I was like, okay, well, I can get on board with that. Then I saw the trailer, and I think I'm off the wagon.
No, I just thought the trailer it didn't give us a tone. It didn't give us any real, like, it seemed to be like almost like a buddy cop type of film.
And as you said, the trailers now oftentimes give you so much about the story, or they give you the best parts of the movie.
Yeah.
If that's the best you got to offer, and I'm supposed to get something about it, I just knew nothing. And there was no moment in there that I could tell you, gee, that was good. I know nothing about what's going on with the story. I'm just like, I don't know what to make of it.
Yeah, and my concern is that
I don't know if
again, this seems a bit like Men in Black. Dust off a property and think that maybe we can make some more money out of it.
Yeah.
We'll put some new people in charge.
I was going to say, I haven't been left that cold by a trailer in a while, but then fucking Holmes and Watson was on the cinemas the other day. Talking about me left cold by a trailer.
Thank Christ that was made in 2018, because it would have been on this list even though it's not a horror movie. Well, it is a horror movie, I've heard.
Yeah, by the sounds of it.
Good Lord. That was tragic. Watching that trailer was akin to having your bloody nutsack stretched over your own head.
You know you're in strife when it's a comedy, and there's not even a chuckle in the trailer.
I know. And there's all these ridiculous gags about selfies and stuff in there, and I'm just like, who wrote this? Who wrote this?
Mm.
And I mean, we've gone off on a tangent, but Holmes and Watson was basically made to capitalise on the two stars from Step Brothers and Talladega Nights. That's all it is. It's got and fuck, John C. Reilly, you should know better. You're a better actor. You're better than that shit. Will Ferrell, you're not better than it. But John C. Reilly's a good actor and has far more to offer than that shit. So okay, back to where we were.
Back to you.
I had Hellboy.
You just added a couple of extra bones.
Yeah, I had Hellboy on there.
You had Hellboy on the list.
Yeah,
okay.
because I hadn't seen the trailer until doing the research for this. And as soon as I watched it, I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, I immediately put it on the list.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, this stinks. It does, it stinks. It stinks. Men in Black doesn't stink, but it seems to be more like I'm more sort of blah about Men in Black.
Yeah, just unfazed.
Yeah.
You know, it'll take it or leave it. Whereas Hellboy's just out and out. Oh shit! I'm not going anywhere near that.
Yeah, it just it
until
doesn't
at least until it's been out for at least 2 weeks.
Well, we saw it stand.
I get a $12 ticket.
Yeah, look, Limelight, $9, I may turn up. No, I wouldn't. So this is the thing. I wouldn't even take the $7 ticket on this. These are the films that I would not go and see in the cinema.
Right. I can't say the same. You might.
We've all seen some
They
shit.
might catch me at a weak moment. I might have a spare.
We are weak men. I understand that. We
Spare
are weak.
afternoon, and I might have seen everything else. I'll go and see Hellboy.
We are weak men. We will probably cave, but I don't particularly want to pay $20 for Hellboy.
Look, I like to comment on this stuff. I've never said I back that up with my spending. I'll say all this about Hellboy, and then I'll probably end up being roped into it somehow.
Yeah. And then next thing you know, what have you been watching? I went and saw Hellboy recently.
Yeah.
It was pretty good.
Yeah, that's how it works.
The next one on my list was I caught the trailer when I went and saw Glass the other day. Alita Battle Angel. Oh,
Yes. I know our friend Maddie was very excited about this one, and
it just
we saw the trailer at Aquaman.
Yeah.
Me and Maddie.
yeah.
And even he was kind of sitting there going, "What's happened? What's
Yeah.
happened here?"
What's happened? Who gave these guys $200 million?
Yeah.
That's the budget for this.
Yeah.
Now Robert Rodriguez, love him as a filmmaker.
Yep.
But you know what? This is not his wheelhouse. He works well with tightly constrained budgets. Now he's got $200 million because Jimmy Cameron's back standing around going, look, I need to do this really
Hey Jimmy, what's in that bag? $200 million. You want some? Here, take it all.
No, every time I came into his office, they were like, we need a bit more money. Look, no worries. I'll get you another 10 mil. Don't worry about it, it's fine. Because this is a passion project of Cameron's, I think.
Is this the cinematic equivalent of the Fire Festival?
No, it'll get to the screen.
Yeah.
The artist will actually turn up for this. But this was James Cameron's baby, I think, wasn't it?
I think
for
so,
years
yeah,
he's
I
been
think he
trying
had.
to get this out.
Yeah.
And now the technology's up to speed. Well, I'm assuming it's up to speed because there's a shot. She seems to be CGI.
Yeah. All the faces, the eyes and everything.
It looked scary. Like in the trailer, I was kind of like, she looks creepy. Well, she does. And the
That was
cast,
one of my first concerns about it.
the cast is excellent. Like, there's a real solid cast there.
Yeah.
$200 million will get that for
$200
you.
million will get you some names.
Just a thing.
But I mean, see, they got $200 million, but the cast is still quality, but not, big bank.
Yeah, I know.
I mean,
so
you
you
got
didn't get a
Christoph
Statham. You didn't get a Statham. You got Oscar winners, for fuck's
Yeah,
sake.
you got Christoph Waltz.
Well, he's a two-time Oscar
He's a
winner.
great actor, but he's not guaranteeing you bank.
No, he's not. These guys are going to lose their. These guys are going to lose their shorts on this one. I can tell you now.
So
I guarantee you, this is one of the biggest flops.
you're
of the
saying
year.
their deposit is non-refundable on this particular.
Yeah. Put some more money on your fire festival tag, Ellis, because I think this one's going to cost you. This is what studio made this?
Yeah, I
About
know.
4 of them
I
probably
think you're right.
together.
I think these studios put 10,000 on their Fire Festival tag and got a cheese sandwich for it. Got a tent and a cheese sandwich.
Guarantee you. Just a side note, check out the Netflix documentary Fire if you want to. We're talking and riffing about that sort of stuff. Check out the documentary; it's bloody piss funny. Back to Alita, it'll be, I reckon, the biggest flop of the year.
Yeah, it could be.
This doesn't have
Money
James Cameron. His name brings something to the table,
Yeah.
no doubt. He's one of those filmmakers one of the rare filmmakers like Spielberg and people like that their name brings something to the table.
Mm.
But he's not the director of this movie, for starters,
No.
which I think hurts it. You've got Oscar-winning talent, but I suggest that they took a paycheck. No disrespect to Robert Rodriguez, but I don't think that they were rushing out. They couldn't wait to work with Robert Rodriguez. You know
Harsh.
what I mean? No, that's what I mean is, I don't think that was the pull.
He's got a wheelhouse.
Yeah, he's got a
It's
wheelhouse,
not-
but I don't think that was the pull. Maybe
Yeah.
the pull was James Cameron.
Yeah.
But $200 million, it's a lot of money to spend. Then you've got to
is.
throw in probably another 200 worth of marketing money.
Yep.
You got a hell of an effort to get to break even.
I think you're possibly right. in
This
terms
was
of
a big. I think this will be the biggest flop. Of
you
the
know,
year.
as you said.
When
the-
this
the
makes 100
cash-
million in opening weekend, I will leave this podcast. Never speak ever again.
You'll be the one without your shorts when we bet on it. And the bet is you have to go to Hoyt's Son's pants to watch a lead in Battle Age.
You know what? If we were still doing that box office. What's the game? I would have picked this up.
Yeah, box office modal.
I immediately cashed my checks in on this crap.
You spent the big, the $20, the 20 million of your budget on a litre.
And then picked up Meat Dave.
Yeah. I think.
This is a turd. I'm sorry. Like, this looks bad.
Well, the thing for me about the trailer was you've got all that money to do, to make these visually spectacular things, and it barely raised the pulse.
Mm.
The most exciting thing that they could find to sneak in the trailer was a game of bloody rollerball or something.
If that's what you... Oh, I guess you've
If
got...
that's what you're banking on. Yeah.
I think there might be fans of the comic or the manga or whatever it is.
Yeah.
That might come out for it. Maybe that's what...
Not many.
Again, I don't know. I know nothing about the manga, so I don't know what the...
I don't think it's got a big enough audience in the States, especially.
I mean, it might do well overseas. Maybe.
Yeah, questionable.
Yeah, I just feel it's going to be a flop.
Yeah.
And I seen the trailer, I was just like, nah. Not for
It's a
me.
lot of money to spend on that.
And again, James Cameron can write his own checks. I mean, he's been...
Yeah.
But his name is attached,
Yep.
but he's firmly moved off elsewhere, mate. He's not...
Yeah, he's just
He wrote the script and he...
he's just saying, I want my money back.
Yeah, he got paid up front. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's written the script and he's producing, and his name brings something to the table. I'm not saying that.
Yep.
And again, coming back to what I said about Rodriguez, I'm not saying that people didn't want to work with him, but I think the pull of Cameron's probably what gets people in, certainly from the acting standpoint and the names they got.
Yep.
But you probably needed a big star for a movie like this.
Possibly.
You needed a big star to hang your hat on. A Rock or a Statham. Dare I say it? Yeah.
Yes.
You needed a star.
Yeah, okay.
And I don't know, you don't have that.
Interesting.
What do you got?
We'll keep on Cameron. Terminator.
Ooh.
The new Terminator.
I made my list too.
Yeah. I've got grave concerns.
I've got grave concerns. I had slight positives because he had now the rights had reverted back to him, so he now owned it, James Cameron,
Yep.
and he put the pieces together.
Yes.
The director of Deadpool. I
Yep.
think. I don't know if Cameron's not writing it though. Is that not correct?
I think he had some input. I don't think I'm not sure he
Hey, what do you think of
decided.
this? Yeah, sounds right. That's the input he had, I think.
Yeah, I think
but
so.
he's producing it, so he's actually he has some involvement. He hasn't had involvement since
Yeah.
Terminator 2.
Yeah, I think it's story story by or characters by, and they said, James, did you read the script? Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything to say? No. So, okay. Yeah, just do it. Okay, that's your input. Go ahead. I don't want to know anything more about it.
So did you read the script? Oh yeah. Look. Full read straight through. Took a lot of notes. Anything to say? Yeah, loved it.
Yeah.
Continue.
That's it.
My concern is that Terminator may have Genesis kind of, I think, may have taken the wind out of it. I mean, no, Genesis 3, Salvation and Genesis took the wind out of the whole
the
thing.
wind's been gone for three movies.
Yeah, and my concern is that it's hard to pick it back up.
Yeah.
And what's the budget on this?
Speaking of wind, Arnie is
He's breaking.
He's 72 now. Obviously, he's 70. He's in the Stallone bracket.
He's in reasonable nick.
Yeah, I know he's in reasonable nick, but I mean, he's the T800. They must be fucking constructing like bloody T-1000 or something by now. Arnie's yesterday's man for this sort of stuff, I think.
Yeah. Why couldn't we recast?
I'm not saying I don't want to see Arnie.
Well, Arnie could have been in it briefly.
Yeah.
Or given us a little something. Not a cameo, but a small role.
I'll put it to you this way. The mystique wears off when your robot ages severely between the films.
Didn't they try to explain that?
The T800's fucking rusty now, mate. They've got it. They need to find another way to keep this going. The components have rusted. There's bits falling off.
Wasn't that explained in Genesis? How he aged?
Oh yeah, but fuck, as if you expect me to remember anything about Terminator Genesis?
No one else has.
No, I just think there's just nothing there to get me really super excited about it. I know Linda Hamilton's back. That's great. Great to have the original Sarah Connor back. But what does that change about the character? You've been fluffing the character for bloody 3 movies now.
Because there was no Sarah Connor in 3.
Well, the only good Sarah Connor stuff recently was the TV show. So
even the TV show,
right.
yeah, had
the TV show succeeded without Arnie. Like the story and that succeeded without Arnie. So why do we need to keep going back to the well with that? I don't know. I've got grave concerns. I have a feeling that James Cameron is focused heavily on Avatar still. For some reason, he still wants to get Avatar done.
He's still fluffing around with Avatar.
As I said, yeah. I read a couple of pages of your script between my work on Avatar. It's great.
Look at Seed.
Can you help us out, James? Yeah, keep going. Keep working on it.
It seemed it was a script. It actually was a script.
So I've got concern. You know, it's got Cameron's blessing. So what? Like, he's just. I don't think he's really. I mean, basically, the bloke. His most notable stuff recently is fucking criticising Wonder Woman. That's the only thing he's been in the news for lately.
Yeah.
So.
No, he's dropping down to the bloody.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Deep into the trenches of the ocean.
That's right. But I just got. I don't think. I don't hold out high hopes that they've really kind of. I don't see it as like a Halloween where someone's come in with a real love for the film and said, here's my idea. That's great. We'll go with it. I just feel like Cameron's got the rights back. Let's cash in. I think he's doing what everyone else has been doing to it. So.
Yeah, true. I think you're probably correct about that. Look, I love Arnie and I'd love to see him again, but it just it was one of these.
I'm not sure I want to see that in Terminator.
Yeah, I guess for me the reason why it's kind of on my list is because I didn't know anything about it. I didn't even know it was being made until like a month ago when I saw that picture of the 3 girls and one was Linda Hamilton. She's in the bulletproof vest. I remember thinking, I remember hearing some whispers a couple of years ago that Cameron was getting the rights back and all that, but then nothing was heard, and I was still having like flashbacks of Genesis and waking up in a cold sweat at night. So I wasn't really. I didn't think that they'd get anywhere with Terminator. Because my thinking was that Cameron's fluffing around with Avatar, and he'll worry about that later. If he wants to bring Terminator back, he'll bring it back after.
Yeah.
But
shit, poor Terminator Genesis. Bloody poor old Jai Courtney has been fucking chewed up and spat out by Hollywood, and he's now back in Australia making movies because He wants a break from that stuff.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, he's copped a lot of shit, Courtney,
Yeah.
but he doesn't deserve it.
No,
It's
I
not
don't
his
think
fault.
I don't think
Far
he
out.
deserves it to the extent that he's copped it.
He's copped it hard.
Yeah.
All right. I've got one for you that I think that I was hoping would be good,
Mm-hmm.
and yet we haven't got a trailer or anything. But it's Child's Play.
Yeah, it's on mine too.
The information I heard was that it's a doll that
Buddy.
comes with Wi-Fi or something,
It's
and it
called
gets
Buddy now.
hacked.
It's an
and
electronic.
by
Yeah.
I mean, the whole thing sounds ridiculous. Admittedly, a psychotic serial killer who.
Yeah. The bloody Wi-Fi stuff sounds absolutely ridiculous. We need voodoo and serial killers.
Yeah, but
and
that
stuff,
seemed
please.
reasonable back in 1987. I just think that
Fucking hell. Right in the thick of the satanic panic.
the Child's Play films, I believe, still had. They were making them direct to DVD, but they seem to be making them. They got a little bit of buzz. The last
two
couple.
were good.
So why are we remaking it?
It's cash cow.
But what cash has it made? I mean,
Well, I think the last couple did okay because they're obviously not going to be budgeted with like bloody. They're not getting a litre money to make Child's Play movies.
no.
And
But
I think they've done reasonably well.
I guess I'll put them side by side.
They've been critically
Terminator, you know, is going to
successful.
make money,
Yeah, well,
and
somewhat.
it's got a bank of cash up its sleeve,
Yes.
right? Child's Play, the first one I believe was a hit.
Yeah.
The others weren't.
But you've got a name.
I guess Bride of Chucky was.
You've got a name that's going to get
No, not
you
Bride of
enough
Chucky.
for a certain
Right.
certain level, I suppose.
Yeah.
So you make it for enough, you probably make your money back or make more. So from what I understand,
So it's not
It's the-
Chucky?
well,
They said it was Buddy.
I think the doll is now called a buddy doll instead of a good guy doll or something.
Right.
So it could still be Chucky.
Yeah.
I'm confused about that. But I believe so. What I understand is that is it MGM owns the rights to the concept or something like that. They don't own the rights to
The films?
the films. I don't really know how it works because Don Mancini is still
Making his own.
he's trying to get a TV thing going. So he's still able to do that, and this movie's off on its own. So the rights are a bit jumbled by the sounds of it. He is fuming.
Oh, yeah.
He is absolutely fuming, and I think rightly so because the guy's got a point. He's saying, what reason is there to do this when we're making them and they're critically pretty well received and doing okay money wise? Like
Yeah.
why are we making them? Why are you doing a remake? I think his argument holds is that this is the reason people hate remakes because this is pure cash in, and they're not even concerned that they might not be able to use all the things that made the original popular. They've just got the name and they're going to run with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a little bit. wary.
This would be probably the one on the list that I would go and see just to see what they actually do with it.
Yeah,
Because at this point in time, there's the information coming out makes it seem like it's basically just like a totally different kind of entity
yeah,
that's got Child's Play
yeah,
as a not
perhaps
totally
it is.
different,
Perhaps they're
but
calling
using Child's Play to sort of
yeah,
hang it around this killer doll thing.
yeah. Maybe they're calling it Buddy because they don't have the rights to Chucky. I don't know. I'm still unclear on that.
Okay, what else you got?
So I heard that they're doing The Grudge again. So that's on my list.
Man, I wasn't even a big fan of The Grudge
No.
in general.
See, I saw the original. It was Japanese, I think.
Yeah.
I saw the Japanese one. I saw the American version. Didn't hate it. I wasn't blown
No, I
away
didn't
by
hate
the
it.
Japanese one, but I liked it better.
I didn't hate the American one
re-
either. I thought it was
The
okay.
American one, yeah, again, it was just kind of there. Like I didn't love it. Haven't seen one since, and I just don't plan on doing it. And I don't know how remaking it's going to get that interest buzzing again when I don't think there really was a whole lot of interest anyway.
No.
So
See, there's a slew of that shit going around. Like, as I was looking through the lists of the big films of the year, I just saw all this stuff on there where I was just like, why have we got this? Like, in what world was anyone calling for this?
yeah, and I think this is, again, it's just it's the reason people hate remakes is that they're just mining for something that had a bit of heat at some point. I don't even know if this did. I don't recall the first one making massive dollar. I think it did okay.
The American version?
The American version. I think
No, it did well.
I think it did okay.
It did pretty well, I think, because it was on the heels of The Ring.
Yeah,
which did well.
I just don't think it's really...
It's unnecessary, I
revisiting.
think. It's very much unnecessary.
Yeah.
From
I just get the feeling that we're just doing this not because someone's got something new to say or something new to add, just money-wise. I mean, that's what was so great about Halloween, was that a couple of fans who had some industry cred used that to say, hey, this is out of our wheelhouse, but we're massive fans and here's our idea.
Yeah.
And someone liked the idea. Thankfully, it was someone like Blumhouse who let them run with it. That movie wasn't perfect, but it gave me enough of what I really wanted to see. The Grudge, I hear something about The Grudge, I just get none of those feelings. And I don't get the sense that that's what's happened. Someone's gone, fuck, I love The Grudge so much that here's what I want to do with it.
Yeah.
I just get the idea that someone's gone, fuck, what do we got here? Let's dig through a box of
offcuts.
A box of intellectual properties. Oh shit, that costs a bit much. Let's go and check out the bargain basement.
We're down in Grudge, Child's Play territory.
The company's gone. We need a surefire moneymaker.
Well,
what do we
MGM
got lying in the basement that we can dig up?
Did you say that MGM's not involved in this as well, are they?
I don't know.
Because they went tits up recently and they sold off all this shit, remember?
Well, maybe that's why Chucky's getting remade.
Because that's why the Bond films were put on hold for a while, because that was all fucking tied up in that.
Honestly, how do you go tits up when you got the rights to the Bond films?
I don't know.
You should be making enough just off what's already out there. You got bloody 25 movies to put out there, re-release. Oh shit, the company's going bankrupt. We better put out another Bond box.
Yeah, I don't know what happened, but they had a few
special features on Bond that we can put out there. No shit, you better make some. manufacture a bloody retrospective.
Somebody can talk about how awesome this movie was or whatever. But yeah, they went under, and their catalogue was of upcoming films. Now I can only assume that maybe Child's Play might have been caught up in that. I don't know. There's the properties get released because MGM doesn't have any money to hold them, and they get in the hands of anyone.
Disney's going to own everything.
I know. No. They will have a box of discards as well that they'll just put back into the market.
Yeah, they probably will.
The Grudge and Child's Play will be in that box.
But I mean, like, if you've got money troubles and Disney comes knocking with $1 billion for the Bond rights or something.
Now I'm going to throw one at you. I had two others.
Okay.
Big franchises.
Yep.
That I feel need to be
put to bed.
Part of one of them maybe not necessarily be put to bed, but I gave up on it some time ago.
Mm-hmm.
So it won't move the needle for me. Is X-Men, the Dark Phoenix. I see these trailers and I just think they look all the same.
I've heard, again, internet speculation, but supposedly the test screenings were a fucking disaster.
Were they? Were they?
Yeah, I heard something about that.
Apocalypse.
I heard one tweet that said keeping it quiet, but they believe it was attributed to Dark Phoenix, but someone said I was in a test screening where they killed off a major character and most of the audience laughed when we weren't supposed to. Things like that.
I'll tell you my problem with X-Men. The first two X-Men films were fantastic, right? The third one was had its problems, but it was okay, though. It was okay.
Yeah, it was rubbish.
Okay, it was rubbish. But then we moved off into the second sort of version.
Yep.
Which I got told, because I haven't seen, I gave up on it after 3.
Days of Future Past was really good.
Days of Future Past and First Class were good. But then we hit the apocalypse, which cocked it all up.
Yeah.
This just seems like another one that looks a bit the same. I remember watching the Apocalypse trailer and going, nah, not interested. Watched this trailer again this morning and just went...
Less interested.
Less interested than I was, but I saw the Apocalypse trailer. And Wolverine, well, it is to me, and maybe because I'm a cretin, Wolverine's X-Men for me.
Yeah.
And when Wolverine segued off into his own stuff...
Yeah.
I loved Logan and...
Logan was excellent. But yeah,
because it's I think they said
and
that,
disagree to some.
I think they said
extent.
Dark Phoenix Wolverine gets reintroduced or something. Is that not?
Oh shit! I don't know. But I mean, see, First Class and Days of Future Past, and they relied less on Wolverine.
Yeah.
Obviously, Wolverine was in
Future
Days
Past.
of Future Past, and was a fairly big part of it. But I think it was probably shown that you could do things with the other characters.
Yeah.
And as I said, I'm a big believer in, and have been for a long time, if you got any of these characters can be made interesting with the right story, with the right input, you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes a long time to get that story, but I don't know.
I mean, look,
Just-
it would seem, based on the fans, that Future Past was a good film. Apocalypse was a turd, right? But I'd left the series after 3.
Yeah.
So my interest levels are so low to watch the trailer like this, even with a cast that's got Jennifer Lawrence and Fassbender and all these top actors, and James McAvoy, and just to sit there thinking that
No.
did very little for me. You know, you hear Jennifer Lawrence sort of saying, yeah, I'm back because, you owe it to the fans because, I've been...
we know
Mystique.
why you're back, Jennifer.
Well, we know it's got
Fatigue.
money, but it just feels a little bit like she's like, I want to be involved because I've done the
I
character.
thought she'd already stated that she wanted to pull the pin.
Yeah, well, she's
Money talks, baby. Money talks.
money talks. Maybe this is the end of it. Maybe this is how they're going to
look,
close it down.
As I said, I've seen all of them. I haven't even bothered to watch the trailer. So I'm pretty cold on it myself. This was even before I'd heard about the tweets and stuff. I didn't bother to check out the trailer.
So someone said it was an absolute pile of
I'm a
bull.
little bit cold. I have grave concerns that that with a little bit of the shine coming off Marvel, obviously they're still making really good movies and still making a lot of money, but people are getting sick of them. I think there are certain people that are sick of them. I think Fox has bloody killed Disney's chances of getting large interest in the X-Men, and if they, fold all those rights in together, I think Disney might have to put the X-Men to bed for a few years, to be honest.
Yeah.
So
That could be. That's
Yeah.
that is possible.
and I think New Mutants is Fox too, isn't it?
I think so.
Because
Yeah.
I heard again rumours that they've reshot 50% of that movie.
Whoa.
So,
But then again, I mean, reshoots. Well, we've seen what the worst of reshoots can do, and that was the Predator.
look, good reshoots are still the
Still doable. Solo and the
Well-
Predator proved that sometimes the reshoots don't work.
But again, obviously, it worked all right for Rogue One,
Yeah.
but it's still the exception. And when you've reshot 50% of it, it's gonna be.
You may as well start again.
Rogue One's really the only one I can think of that seems to have had reshoots that extensive, and I'm not even sure they reshot 50% of that.
Yeah, and
Solo was the one that they reshot more of.
basically, if you're shooting 50%, you may as well just do the whole thing over. Well, it's true.
That's the thing. If
Why
you
try
think-
and
if you
cobble
think-
together
if you
two
think-
different movies?
Put it this way, you clearly think half the movie sucks.
So what we'll do is we'll reshoot it and we'll try and plug all the holes. And if we don't get them all, who cares?
If you think half the movie sucks, fair chance the entire thing's pretty shit.
It's compromised, I know that much. But yeah,
You may as well just release it as is, because you're just adding more money. You're just digging further down. And, I don't know.
but to me, Dark Phoenix is just not. It's a blip on the radar because I haven't been involved. I haven't been interested in X-Men for a while. From the word I heard, I should have been in First Class and Days of Future Past because they were good films.
I actually gave you the box and you gave it back to me and said, I didn't watch it.
Yeah, I did.
So I think Dark Phoenix was never going to be in your most anticipated.
yeah. Look, it was not high on the list, but
No.
yeah, the trailer just left me with nothing.
Yep.
What else do you got? You got anything else?
Maybe
you
I'll
want
have similar feelings when I get around to watching it.
to add? Yeah, you won't even get near it. I can guarantee it.
So my last one, I'm not even sure this is going to be out this year,
Yeah.
but it seems like there's a fair chance, is The Kingsman.
Yeah, that was
Another
on.
Kingsman
That was
movie.
another one that I had.
I mean,
The first one was awesome.
the first one was good fun, but I didn't even see the second one because I was left cold by what I'd seen about that one, and then I think Gibbo went and saw
Gibbo
it,
wasn't
told
right.
me to, skip it. Read some reviews that said not worthwhile. Even now that I've got access to it on streaming and stuff, I haven't bothered to look into it.
Yeah.
The third one gives me even less reason to be
Because they've gone... It's a
excited about this.
prequel, isn't it?
There's a guy, I think it's going to be a prequel in early 1900s, possibly, or something like that. It seems to have some okay names attached. I think Ray Fiennes was in there somewhere. But I just...
Earlier on you said money talks, so...
Yeah, well, exactly.
And
I think that's...
apply that to Ray Fiennes as well.
I just think the
concepts have one film in it.
I'm not against franchising and things like that, but there's nothing wrong with having 5 years between a bloody movie and a sequel, is there?
No, but there's nothing wrong with having a singular film on its own.
There's nothing wrong with having a singular film. I understand that, but I'm realistic about that. Money is the prime motivator, and if you've got a hit, you are probably going to get a sequel to it, unless it's something like just something I watched recently, like Hereditary. That seems pretty well standalone. Made a ton of money because it didn't spend much money, but you see it in the hands of someone who won't be clamouring to say, I need to cash in on this, I don't think. Whereas The Kingsman's made by a company, that's all they do, is they make a film and say, bang, that's our next property to fucking squeeze dry, basically. So the second one seemed to be just cobbled together. Oh, I cannot... I don't know.
I can appreciate what you're saying, that, look, we're realists. If a movie's a hit, so especially if it's a crowd pleaser, it's likely to get a sequel. But then again, I look at something like, as I said before, I went and saw Glass the other day. Looking back, now that I've seen them all,
pure
it
cashing.
should not have gone past Unbreakable. It's as simple as that. It was a one-film deal in my book. Unbreakable is the real gem in a very average trilogy.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
I say, my thing is, my approach is like, if you get a hit like that, what's wrong with handle with care? What's wrong with take
time.
Back 5
up.
or so years?
Yeah.
Why do we just need to hire a writer and say, bang, us out a Kingsman script?
Yeah.
Why can't we say, let's put it out to interested parties?
Yep.
If you've got an idea for Kingsman, come to us, but we're going to take our time.
Yeah. And if we think it's a piece of shit, we're going to tell you it's a piece of shit.
Because I think, with the... I get you got
we're
to
not going to jump
I get
the
you gotta,
first script we get.
I get you got to stay in people's consciousness, and you got to... I guess there's an argument for striking while the iron's hot, but Glass is a pretty good example. That movie was over 15 years old when Split came out.
Yeah.
And people were just, spoiler the bit at the end, people were fucking... They couldn't climb over themselves fast enough to get a sequel.
Yeah.
So what does that tell you? It tells you that if you've made a good property and it's going to resonate with people for a while, you could take 4 to 5 years and still generate a buzz for it, couldn't you?
Well, sticking with the Glass analogy, Unbreakable was a hit, but not a big hit. It was, 240 million worldwide on a 70 million budget.
Yeah.
But it resonated over those 16 years. That's where it found its niche.
It actually got more...
Well,
it was more in the
people bought into
consciousness
it.
because people looked back on it and said this was even better than we thought originally. Because it got caught up in the Sixth Sense business.
Yeah.
People looked at it and said, "Oh, gee, he's kind of dropped off a bit." When in fact he'd made a better movie.
Yeah.
But people were looking for something that they probably didn't get.
As superhero movies grew over the last 15 years, people started looking at Unbreakable differently and realising this is a superhero film, but it's done in reality. And they respected it for that. They were managed to now churn out 2 sequels that are big hits.
Yeah.
All on the back of this movie that was considered kind of, not much to it.
It was considered
Pretty
a
decent
decent
film,
sophomore
but that's
effort.
it. Yeah. So I see no reason for Kingsman. In saying that, what is the gap between 1 and 2? Kingsman? Couple of years?
Well, when did the first one come out? It was 2012?
Yeah. So maybe 2014, 2015 for the sequel.
Yeah. So it's not exactly rushed. It's not like Friday the 13th at its peak rush to, 9 months to 10 months between films or whatever. They were punching out. But I don't like that. I don't like that you just say to someone that wrote it or some other person, if that person's not interested, if you go to the person that wrote the first one and say, what else you got? Yeah. And they say, nothing really. Yeah. That you say, here's $20 million. What do you got? Like, plenty. You go to someone else and just say, we need a Kingsman script. I much prefer letting it simmer for a little bit and letting someone who really has an idea make it known.
Well, Jared, we're going off on a little bit of a tangent.
Yeah,
here,
we are.
I'm coming back. I think it's relevant because I'm coming back to. I feel that we sometimes are a little bit too easily pleased.
Yeah.
With some of these movies, like things are at 65%, and you've kind of watched them and thought, this is pretty shit house.
Yeah.
But a 3 out of 5 seems to be fresh. Say, taking the Rotten Tomatoes approach.
Yeah.
3 out of 5's fresh, right?
Yep.
But you read some of those 3 out of 5s and they're kind of like, it was kind of okay. I think sometimes we're a little bit too easily pleased by what we're seeing.
Yeah.
And that then gives off to more and more sequels and franchises and universes coming up.
Yeah.
That sometimes I don't think are necessary.
Oh, look, I'm kind of torn on this because me and you have had large discussions about this, about how there seems to be this phenomenon now of the audience score and the Rotten Tomatoes score being very different.
Yeah,
and there's this
substantially different.
There's this whole movement of critics don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
They actually do. Yeah. A lot of them actually do. But I think
maybe us as an audience. Maybe it's less about the critics and maybe it's more about us as an audience.
The audience is easily pleased. I look at stuff like Transformers and I'm okay with seeing things like Transformers on the screen, but don't tell me that anything bar One or Bumblebee are a good movie. They are not. I don't care. I think there's my most recent one was Venom. I finally caught Venom. Venom's not a good movie. I don't care what anybody says. I did enjoy parts of it, but not for reasons of looking at it going, this is a really well-made movie, this is a brilliant script or anything. It's not. But you look on IMDb or Rotten Tomatoes at the audience stuff, people were raving about it, saying, don't listen to the critics, Venom is a fantastic movie. I was just sitting there going, I don't know in what world you could look at that and say that's a fantastic movie. I could see that you enjoyed it, and I get that people have different tastes, but I was fucking blown away by the amount of love that Venom was getting and the amount of 8s, 9s and 10s that were being handed out.
Maybe in a way it's a little bit hypocritical of us to talk about this because we're in the same boat.
Well,
somewhere.
we are.
We're providing our opinion and we're saying that our opinion's
not any more important than any of the other
it's
audience.
It's not. I guess what I'm saying is that, let's take the Meg, for instance.
Yeah.
The Meg makes, $500 million.
Yeah.
The Meg was okay. I kind of had fun with it here and there.
Yeah.
But the fact that $500 million worth of worldwide box office, we're getting a sequel. This is part of the problem, I think, is that these movies make shitloads of money when they really shouldn't.
Yeah.
And then we've got a sequel.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you're 100% right. As you said, we're not trying to elevate ourselves above anyone else.
No, because our opinion is just like anyone else.
Just like anyone else that's written
like arseholes, mate.
9 out of 10.
We've got 4 of them.
But, I just look at it and I say, we could be part of the problem because people now think their voice is more important than it actually is. So people get on there and criticise critics and say they don't know what they're talking about. This is where I draw the line because I don't do that. I will have a laugh at critics and things like that, but I do understand that these people know technical aspects for the most part.
Yeah.
The well-paid critics and the people that get paid by big newspapers and big websites to do this, they are paid to do that for a reason.
Yeah.
And they do know what they're talking about a lot of the time. And I think people now just look less at the technical aspects of making a movie or a good script or whatever and just say, I enjoyed that. I went and enjoyed that. That was a fucking great movie, without actually looking at the ins and outs as much.
Yeah, and maybe we're looking at it too deeply because at the end of the day, everyone's entitled to their opinion, and whether
They are.
they were entertained by a movie that we would consider shit
It's very few.
is none of our concern,
It's
basically.
few movies that do it, but it seems to be more recently. And the Venom is the example for me because I'm looking at that going, yeah, I enjoyed it and I had fun. The experience of watching it was fun, but it's not because it was a good movie. It's because Tom Hardy was acting like a bloody raving lunatic. there was some lines in there that had me laughing out loud. Not that they were supposed to.
I guess maybe
you know.
I'm more hitting along the lines of, I think the quality of film, we don't have things jumping out of the box. Like, what's the last great movie you saw in the last, like,
Yeah,
the
see,
classics?
I think there's still those. I think there's still excellent movies that
I think that there's
make
maybe it's
themselves
because
known.
there's more.
You know
there's
what?
so many more.
I think it's less of the blockbusters that are that.
Yeah. The more sort of hidden away little ones.
Yeah. It's more like
squirreled
I
away
look at
gems.
something like Hereditary, and I was pretty moved by that as a movie. It was relatively small. Like it made a fair bit of cash and made a bit of a name, but it wasn't packing out 10 cinemas a day and.
Yeah, the blockbusters, but most of the blockbusters, I mean, even back in the day, your blockbusters. I mean, but then again, Star Wars.
Yeah, well, you
Jaws,
had the Star Wars,
Raiders
the
of the Lost Ark,
Jaws, the Indiana Joneses, the Terminators, legitimately
blockbuster
excellent
films.
movies.
Yeah, that became considered excellent films.
I don't know. Might be a topic for another day.
Yeah, but I guess also I'd say again, it's each their own
Yeah.
on what they consider a great film and what they don't. I just feel that I haven't seen a lot that I would consider great.
That's because you turned into
Oh,
a cranky old prick.
There's no doubt about it.
You've topped 40 and now you've just taken your bloody Clint Eastwood card and just like a grumble at everything.
Yeah, I'll take the Tommy Lee Jones card.
Yeah, that's next.
I've got one more.
You've
honourable
collected
mention.
them early though. You should have another decade or so before you turn into this.
I know, I should be a nice bloke for another 10 years, but I've decided against that.
Well, I wouldn't
I've got
say a
one-
nice
I've
bloke. Reasonable person.
No, tolerable.
Yeah, you're a tolerable human being sometimes.
I have one more that's an honourable mention for me.
Yeah.
Anything with Fast and the Furious in the title is probably not going to get me there. And even though the only one that's coming out
The
next
Rock's
year
in it,
is
so you will be there.
no, the one that's coming out is Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah.
And I think that
Idris Elba's interested.
yeah,
Why
well,
are you?
Well, it's possible that Hobbs and Shaw actually turns out to be more intriguing to me because I don't mind Statham, I don't mind The Rock.
You love Statham.
I would go to see those guys.
Yeah. You were.
But I haven't been part of the Fast and the Furious universe.
You were usually
forever.
put off by wrecking balls in car chases and things, weren't you? And torpedoes.
Well, when a fucking submarine becomes part of a car chase, you've jumped the shark as far as I'm concerned.
I think we said it before, but it sounds like Nightboat on The Simpsons.
I think the Fast and Furious franchise found a way to reinvigorate itself.
Yeah.
But it never sort of caught me. I mean, I guess I've never been a car guy, so it never really... Because part of it is...
it was more like the heist aspect that really seemed to
and that's
take
what I
on.
think's turned it around. That's why it's become the franchise it's become. But yeah, I don't gravitate towards the Fast and the Furious films.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Yep.
I don't know what it is, but...
I didn't have a whole lot of
Mentions.
honourable mentions. You talk about easily pleased. I seem to be excited about everything that was coming out next year, but I've got one that's part of me was putting it on the most anticipated, but a large portion of me wanted it on
Rambo,
the
last one?
least anticipated. Joker.
Oh, yeah.
I am really, really torn because the stuff that's come out looks really good. Joaquin Phoenix looks excellent. And the look is really interesting. They seem to have gone with this really over-the-top colour palette that's kind of been taken away from the character when we've been doing these kind of dark approaches to everything, and it looks a bit more like the bloody the 60s TV show where the suit looks kind of maroon rather than that deep kind of purple. And a couple of the scenes that have come out where people were taking snapshots and whatever, and then Todd Phillips would release a bit of something saying better coming from me than, grainy photos. It all looks really good, but I'm just, number one, I still have concerns about what DC's doing in their, writers' rooms and things. And secondly, I feel like the Joker origin story, this whole thing about the Joker origin story, it's just never really worked. There's only really been a handful that have worked all across all the mediums. Like the Batman, the original, the Keaton one, was okay. The Mask of the Phantasm animated movie was pretty solid for probably one of the better.
Did they ever explain any of that in Dark Knight? I mean, I haven't seen Dark Knight.
No.
They didn't bother. They just
Remember he gave conflicting stories to everyone?
Yeah.
He
so
basically said
this
is what
just a
happened
liar.
as a kid. Yeah. The Killing Joke is the comic that seems to have influenced this a little bit. But if it seems like Batman's going to be not in it. I don't know. I could be wrong.
I think that's...
Whereas Batman had a small role in The Killing Joke about...
I think not having Batman's actually a good idea.
Well, yes, but for a Joker origin story, I'm not so sure.
It's going to be very
hard.
Like
I said, those two characters are so intertwined that I'm not sure it can work without it. But there's been attempts and they just never really work. Aside from a couple, like a handful, and I just think you can see elements of The Killing Joke in this, but I've just got grave concerns about Todd Phillips. I'm not sure. I've never been a huge fan of him as a filmmaker. Personal opinion, some people love his stuff. Just that coupled with the fact that I've just never really seen the origin stories work all that much.
Yeah.
And it's something, obviously in comics, they do that shit all the time. They've done it a handful of times and it just doesn't work. The latest thing is they're currently, when they kind of revamped a lot of the DC comics recently, they've come with this idea that there's actually been 3 Jokers. So
3 different Jokers?
3 different Jokers. That 3 people have been the Joker and Batman's never known. It's been different people at different stages. And so what they've done is they've teased that out for bloody 12 months or more as part of the new continuity. And I think sometime this year there is planned to be a storyline, the 3 Jokers, like a run of comics to explain who it was. And
right.
So that's going to be the latest attempt. But I've got massive concerns about that.
Yeah, I've got concerns about it too. Mostly because of Todd Phillips.
Yeah.
Because his resume doesn't speak to any of this.
No.
And I'm not saying he can't do it because you talked about Halloween.
Danny McBride
and David Gordon Green, that wasn't their wheelhouse, but they made it work. And so maybe Todd Phillips has got an idea that works.
Maybe. I hope so.
But yeah, there's a concern there. I still think that's fairly anticipated though.
Yeah.
I'd like to see what they do.
Well, as I said,
far more than
I had
straight past it and never watched it.
I didn't put it on either list because I kind of would have put it on both.
It's kind of a middle ground almost.
Yeah.
But I really would like to see what they do with it.
Yes, and I'm keen to sort of see. I don't get excited about teasers. I actually get pissed off at teasers. I hate the teaser trailer phenomenon. I hate the trailer for a trailer sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of interested to see a little bit of teaser work for that sort of stuff because it's a long way out. So
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, that's our least anticipated films. You can find us on iTunes, Podomatic and Spotify. If you want to contact us, send us an email at thrillme@iinet.net.au. Like us on Facebook at Thrill Me Podcast Australia. Instagram at thrillmepodcastau. Next episode, keep an eye on Facebook and we'll provide some further details. But until then, take it easy and we'll catch up with everyone later. Cheers. Find the podcast at Podomatic or on iTunes. Don't forget to rate and review. Like us on Facebook at Thrill Me Podcast Australia or contact us at thrillme, all one word, all lowercase, at iinet.net.au.